Friends, in today's story, we will see a Catholic school sister trying to impress her own school student. And as soon as she gets a chance to satisfy her lust, the sister has an affair with that student. So let's start the story. At the beginning of the story, we see a boy named Jason, who came back to his school after finishing his holidays, where we see his sister Joey and his parents David Cheryl, where his father was angry with him. Because this time around, Jason had his car accident. But Rebecca, the principal of his school, promises him that he will take care of Jason. After which we see Sister Sophia, who is going to be a teacher in his school. And when Rebecca was showing him his school, here Sophia sees Jason, who she likes at first sight. After that, Rebecca shows Sophia her room. And as soon as she leaves, Sophia takes a breath of relief. And we see that her actions were not right. On the other hand, we see that Jason was very famous because of his singing. And Sophia also starts watching Jason's video. And she goes crazy. Here, when Jason was sitting outside and singing, Sophia comes to him and starts praising him. After that, when a girl named Sarah starts flirting with Jason in the class, then Sophia comes there. And Sophia doesn't like this at all, so she changes Sarah's seat. Here, all the children say their prayers before starting their studies. But Joey sees that Sophia was not saying a prayer. And she finds this thing strange. But when she tells Jason this, he doesn't pay attention to her. Because Sarah was messaging him. And when Joey tells Jason to stay away from him, Jason argues with him and starts leaving. That's when Sophia comes to him. And today in the class, she apologizes to him for his behavior. And she says, "If you have any work, tell me." And this thing also seems a little strange to Jason. The next day, Sarah comes to Jason and tells him that one day you will become a very big star. And she starts kissing him. That's when Sophia comes there. And first she tells Jason to go away from there. And then she scolds Sarah. And she tells him to stay away from Jason. Where today after the class was over, when all the children were leaving, Sophia calls Jason to her. And she says that today you will come to my room. I want to talk to you. After that, Sophia goes to her room and takes off her clothes and puts a nightie on her. And then she puts a fake headphone in her ears. When Jason comes here, he starts putting lotion on his body in front of her unknowingly. And Jason also starts looking at her secretly. And then before anyone sees him, he goes there. Jason can't sleep tonight. Because Sophia was coming in his mind again and again. And Jason himself starts thinking with his teacher. The next day was the last day of the week, where Joey and Jason were going back to their house for a day or two. And when Sarah comes to Jason to say bye, Sophia doesn't like this at all. That's when Rebecca comes there. And Sophia tells him that her mother is not well. So he will have to go to meet her. And Rebecca agrees. Where at night when Jason tells his father at home that he does not have to go to school for a year. And he has to focus on his music career. So there is a debate between the two. And Jason goes out in anger. That's when Sophia comes to Jason's house in her car. And starts looking at Jason quietly. Who was sitting behind his house and singing. And when he gets a call from Sarah, Sophia's mood gets bad. That's when she hears a sound from her feet. But before that Jason came to see there. Joey messaged him and called him inside. And Sophia quickly comes in his car and starts drinking. That's when she gets an idea. A few days later when all the kids came back, Sophia quietly goes to the girls' world, where she goes to Sarah's room and puts a cigarette in her book. But when she was going from there, so Rebecca sees her. And Sophia makes some excuse. But Joey is listening to her secretly. And that's when Sophia curses Rebecca from behind. And Joey loses his mind. Anyway, the next day when Sophia was teaching him, so his cigarette comes out of Sarah's book. And when Rebecca finds out about this, she throws Sarah out of the school. Where Sophia thought that other than Sarah, other kids must be drunk. That's why she starts checking Rebecca's room with all the kids. Where they get a bottle of alcohol from Jason's room, which Sophia had kept there a while ago. Rebecca wanted to throw him out of the school too. But according to Sophia, they should give Jason another chance. And as a punishment, Jason can't go home this week. And she has to stay in the school and help him. Hearing this, Rebecca agrees. And that's what she wanted. Here we see a flashback, where Sophia's real name was Laura. And she saw Jason online for the first time. And she was crazy about him. When she found out that Jason's school was hiring a new teacher named Sophia. So she killed the real Sophia. And came here taking his place. When Jason tells his sister everything, she says that she will also stay here with him, so that he can keep an eye on him. The next day when Jason was working in the garden, Sophia comes to him. And starts talking to him while helping him. Where she makes an excuse of the heat. And opens some buttons of her shirt. which makes Jason even more attracted to her. After which Laura secretly comes to Jason's room at night and starts recording on his phone and takes off her clothes. That's when Jason wakes up. And seeing this, Sophia quickly goes to him and starts doing it and takes off her clothes. Jason tries to stop himself, but Laura calls him to her, where Jason is not able to control, and he snores with Laura. The next morning Jason was thinking in his room that what happened last night was not a dream. It was reality. And when he was outside, Laura comes to him and says that what happened between us, no one should know, where Jason agrees. But when Laura was ironing his clothes in Jason's room, that's when Joey comes there and starts asking him a lot of questions, where somehow Laura drives him away. And Laura understood that Joey also has to be removed from the way, where today Laura tells Joey that he has got very low marks in this exam, but she wants to give him another chance, and tells Joey to come back to the class after school, so that he can give his exam again, where after a while Joey comes back to the class. There on the table, Laura has kept her next exam paper, which Joey mistakenly sees, and that's when Laura comes there, where seeing this, Laura takes Joey to Rebecca, where Joey was apologizing to her, but according to Laura, she should remove him, where Rebecca sends Laura out, and then says to Joey that I will not remove you, because Joey was a good student. Hearing this, she breathes a sigh of relief, and then tells Rebecca about Laura, that she does not like anything. On the other hand, Jason comes to their church, and sits here in the confession chamber, in front of his priest. What he did with Laura. He begins to give his confession. That's when he sees that his words, not the priest, but Laura was listening, who sits in his lap. And here they both again. The next day a bishop comes to their school, whose words Rebecca finds out that he knew Sophia. And when Laura finds out this, then she quickly leaves there. And when Rebecca sees her, then Laura gives an excuse that her mother is getting sick, and she will have to go, where Rebecca also finds this very strange. And on the same side, Jason gets a message from Sarah, whose house had a party tonight. When Jason and Joey come home, then while having dinner, Jason fights with his father and goes away from there. Laura was watching all this, and on the same night, Jason goes to Sarah's house, to her party, who tells Jason that his father will arrange something and will admit him back to his school. And then she takes Jason to her room and starts having fun with him. But in Jason's mind, Laura is still going on. That's why he stops Sarah and starts going from there. But on the way, a policeman stops him because he was drinking. But before he arrests him, Laura comes there and tells the officer and saves Jason. On one side, his parents were getting worried about Jason, so his father goes to find him. And the same Laura took Jason to a hotel with her, and here she changes her clothes in front of him and wears a beautiful red dress. And then she starts telling him that I have a lot of money, and she wanted to keep Jason with her. But Jason thinks this is wrong. That's why he starts going from there. And seeing this, Laura gets very angry. When Jason was sitting on a bench, so his father comes to him and tells him that you can do whatever you want with your career. I won't say anything to you. And Jason agrees. The next morning when he was going back to school, so Joy sees Sophia's car outside his house. And then when everyone was praying, so quietly Joy takes Sophia's car number and takes out all her information. On the other hand, Jason sees Laura in his room, who was pretending to die. And when Jason tells her to open the poll, so Laura threatens him that if you do this, then his life will be ruined. After which when he was praying in the class, so Rebecca comes there with Sarah, whose admission was done there again. And seeing this, Laura tells Jason to stay away from her. But Jason does not listen to her and starts singing in front of everyone for Sarah. Seeing this, Laura was going crazy. And when Sarah was bathing in anger, so Laura kills her. And the police thought that Sarah slipped in the soap and died. But Joy and Jason do not digest this. The next day when Jason asks Laura about this incident, so Laura shows him the video of those two and says that you can't tell anyone about this. On the last day of the week, then Laura lies to Rebecca that her mother is dead, and she has to go to her last rites. And at night when Jason's family was having dinner in a restaurant, so Laura comes to them, which Jason does not like. But his parents tell him to have dinner with them. While talking, when Joy asks Laura about Sophia. So Laura does not answer. And this changes Joy's suspicion. On the other hand, Rebecca also finds out that Laura was lying about her mother, while Jason also tells Joy all the truth, and says that he has made a relationship with a nun, with which she can also be jailed. But Joy says that Laura is not a nun, and she can get proof of this from her laptop. Where the next day, when Rebecca calls Laura to her office, so Joy and Jason quickly enter her room and take out all the raw letters, while Rebecca also found out the truth. And because of this, Laura attacks them. And when Joy and Jason were looking for Rebecca, so Laura comes, by which Joy starts misbehaving. So Laura attacks him. Jason tries to stop him, but Laura pushes him and tries to kill Joy. But Rebecca attacks him from behind, and Jason kills Laura with a screwdriver. In the next scene, we see the scene after a few months of this incident, where Joy and Jason had graduated, and Jason's father gives him a guitar as a gift. Where this story ends here. So friends, I hope you liked the video. So like the video and subscribe to the channel.